What's going on, everybody? So we're going to be going live here in a couple minutes. I'm going to be teaching you guys a little bit on the cycle of sports betting and how that looks and how you go through it every single day. Not just sports betting, but just in gambling in general. So make sure you guys, if you guys can hear me, make sure you guys are commenting down below that you can hear me and stuff like that. If you guys got any questions, throw them in the comment section. Also, I will address that towards the end of this video. All right, but that's kind of how today's going to go with today's video. We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about some stuff, talk about that cycle of exactly, every gambler, every sports bettor, we all experience it. We always go through the certain type of cycle and how to break that cycle. All right, how you can break that cycle and be able to actually, do this at a level to where you could do this every single day and not just pretty much like one and done. All right, because I see that happen a lot in sports betting. I've seen that happen a lot actually this last weekend, especially around NFL season. It happens a lot. All right, it comes in, people dump out their whole entire paychecks over the weekend trying to bet college football and the NFL, and then guess what? They got to go right back to it again, and then they got to wait till they get paid again, and then they try to do it all again. All right, so we're going to go over that a bit today. Like I said, guys, if you guys can hear me, make sure you guys are commenting down below. If you guys got any questions, make sure you guys throw them in the comment section. All right, and as always, guys, if you guys like these videos, make sure you smash that like button. All right, give me a thumbs up on that. Also, let's get this going. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to talk a little bit about the mentality behind sports betting, behind gambling in general, that cycle when it comes, and how you can kind of avoid it and kind of, put yourself at a advantage to where you can do this every single day and it's fun to do and it's not like stressful, because I see people every weekend every weekend people get so stressed over social media. I see like, oh man, I lost 2,000 on the Bills, or I lost 2,000 on this, or I lost $1,000 on LSU money line, or I lost money on this. That's like the common thing you see every single weekend. So you got to try to break that strain. All right, and there's only one way to really do that. All right, so first off, let's go through and I'm going to explain to you guys what is the cycle that everybody goes through. Not just gambling, not just sports betting, but just in general, what's the cycle? All right, so we all start out with what? We all start out with money. All right, so we all start out with money. All right, our initial money that we have to play with. Then what happens? Then we go and we place a bet. All right, we place a bet. All right, so we go and place a bet. We have money, we go place a bet. Now what do? Now we sit back, watch the games, see what happens. Guess what? More often than not, guess what happens? End up losing the bet, right? End up losing. All right, so we lose the bet. Now what are we doing? All right, so now we lost the bet. What are we doing? We're jonesing a little bit, right? We're like, we got to get this money back. How do we get this money back? Because I hate losing money. Everybody hates losing money, all right? That's just in general. It's just being a human being. You don't like losing money, right? So you lose a bet, you're down money already. You're like, all right, which way? How do I get this money back? So how do you get this money back? Just like Nigel just said, you chase. All right, you chase. So you go ahead, you lose a bet. Next thing you know, we're going. What are we doing? We are placing a bet. We place a bet. All right. Then what happens now? What happens more often than not? We end up what? We end up losing the bet. All right, so we end up losing the bet. Then what happens? Then we get right back to the aspect of we have to refill our accounts again. All right, so this happens all the time, guys. This happens all the time, every single weekend. I'm telling you, college football, NFL, I see this every single weekend. So start out with money. You place a bet. You lose the bet. You place another bet. You lose that bet. You're out of money. All right, now this happens, and a couple reasons why this happens. All right, so first reason obviously is chasing. You chase. All right, so the next thing that happens is you aren't placing the right amount of money. All right, because I see people that have, like, let's say you got $500, you got $1,000. All right, they got $500 or $1,000 here. All right, this is their money. Now $1,000, they're going and placing a $300 bet here. All right, so they go and place a $300 bet. Now guess what? They lose the bet. All right, they're down 300. So now they had 1,000. Now they're down to $700. All right, and then we go to what? They're placing another bet. They put another 300 down on something. They lose that. Now they're down $600. All right, they had 1,000. Now they're down 4. Now they only have $400 left. Guess what they're doing? They're gonna go ahead and put another bet in for $400. Probably lose that. Now guess what? They go back. They have nothing. So now they gotta wait till they get paid again to get their money. All right, so you gotta wait till you get paid again to get your money to refill the account. All right, so this is what happens. This is a cycle of a gambler slash sports bettor, you blackjack player. It doesn't matter what you do, guys. It's the same exact thing. All right, it goes hand in hand. You got to be able to break that cycle. All right, there's only a couple ways really to break that cycle. All right, and it's not too, it's kind of boring. It's kind of boring on how to break the cycle, but this is how you're going to be able to do it. All right, guys, and like always, if you guys want me to teach you more and you guys want to learn a little bit more, make sure you guys go down in the description, book a call. All right, now let's get to how you break this cycle. All right, how do we actually are able to get to the next level in this? All right, how can we get to the next level? All right, and not get caught up in doing this every single week where we dump our account, I have to refill the account, dump the account, refill account. All right, how do we do that? So let's start out with our money. All right, we start out with our initial money. All right. So now, before we go to place a bet, what do we do? What should we do? We should be doing way more research on what is going into a bet. All right, because I see a lot of people just over. I use the NFL and college football as an example because it's a classic sport, those two sports where people lose money every single weekend. All right, so they don't really do, their research is Alabama covers the spread every week. I'm going to bet Alabama. That's the that's the research. All right, so that is not, you need to go more in detail with stuff. All right, so what you need to do is you have your initial money. You need to do your research. All right. So you do your research. Now you're paying more attention to certain games. You're checking your stuff out. Now, once you have a solid research strategy down, all right, once you look at exactly what you're doing and you can actually eliminate certain games, now you can go ahead and place that bet. You see? But what are we doing now when we're placing the bet? When we're placing the bet, what we're doing here is we're only going to be doing 1 to 2% of what this is. All right, of what this amount of money is. So it's just 1 to 2% of what we're putting down. All right, now the reason why most people can never even make it to this part is because this part isn't big enough. All right, because you're not satisfied with if you win a bet at 1 to 2%. This is why this part right here, people don't even make it to. All right, because they're not satisfied with this amount of money. Because if you only have $1,000, now you're placing bets that are what, $10, $20. All right, people aren't satisfied with that. They're like, I'm not gonna make any money. What if if I win a couple bets over the weekend, I made what, $30? Whoop-de-doo. But you got to understand this, that to make money, you got to have money, guys. This is just not in sports betting, not in gambling. It's just in general. All right, you have to have money. You got to have money to make money. All right, all these parlays and stuff that you guys see on social media, where it's like they bet $5, they want $100,000 on same game parlay, anytime touchdowns. They bet 20 players to score a touchdown. Guys, that's all just that's stuff. Trust me. I mean, you could get lucky, but you could get lucky and win the lottery too. So this is real stuff. This is how it works. So you got to have money to make money, because if you don't, then you're not going to be satisfied with the money that you have here. All right, what you make. So you got to be able to bet 1 to 2% of what the total is here. All right. So now it doesn't really matter in the next step here. All right. If you win or lose, if you win or lose, it does not matter. It doesn't really matter, because what are you doing? Now you're just going right back to the same thing again. You're going back to your research. All right? And then you're going right back to place your bet at 1 to 2%. All right? Because now, what are we doing? So you guys could see exactly how this looks. So how you could see, like, the reason that this works is because now look, you go from your money, you go to your research, you go to place bet, then you go to win or lose, then you go back to research, then you go to place bet. Now, what are you bypassing here? All right, you're bypassing something. You're bypassing this right here. You're bypassing having to refill your account again. All right, because when you're betting 1 to 2% of this number, it doesn't matter if you win or lose here. It doesn't matter if you place your bet, win or lose here. It does not matter. It does not matter. All right, because you're in a good circle now. You're in a circle that you're not going to have to refill this account, because that's what kills everybody, is having to refill the account. Because now if you have to refill the account, you're diving into your pocket every single week or every 2 weeks. All right, so you have to be able to bypass this right here, bypass the initial investment, and keep this going. All right, you got to keep this going. Keep that rotation going and bypass this. You don't want to keep refilling your account. You don't want to lose all your money, so you have to refill your account. All right, so that's why I try to tell you guys is that it takes money to make money, and it might not be exciting if you have $1,000 and you're betting $10 to $20, but guess what? In the long term of doing it, that's the way it goes. If you're taking $1,000 into any investment, you got to think that you're not going to make a lot. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to make a lot right off the bat. All right, but you can, keep this process going, and then compounding this number up here. And guess what? You're going to be able to start stacking this number. All right, you start compounding. You compound your number right here as you're going through this process, and you keep doing this over and over and over. This is going to grow. All right, until this grows, then this grows, then this grows, and this grows. This is the right way to go through the cycle. All right, because the bad way to do it is placing 10-20% of this number up here, losing, because now it matters if you win or lose, because now you just lost like 20% of your bankroll. All right, you got to understand, you just lost a lot. All right, if you're betting 10, 20, 30% of a bankroll, now your mindset is screwed. All right, because let's take for an example, if you have $1,000 in your pocket, $1,000 cash in your pocket, $10 bill drops out of your pocket. You're not going to freak out as much as you would be if $300 or $400 dropped out of your pocket when you had $1,000 in your pocket. All right, that's just being a human. You're not going to freak out as much. All right, you're going to be like, oh, okay, I lost $10, but I still got 990 left. But if 400 drops out and you're like, man, that's like almost half my money. Now you're freaking out. So that's why this is the right way to do the process, guys. This is the circle. This is the cycle you should be on. You shouldn't be on the one that I showed you in the first one. All right, because that's just a recipe for disaster. That's like what 99% of people do, though. That's what sucks. 99% of people do what I showed you in that first graph, pretty much. It's like, it's just how it goes. You get paid. You take, whether it's like $500 or something out of your account. You go, you put it in your sports betting account. You play football on the weekend. You lose. You chase them. You lose all your money. You have no bankroll left. Now you're waiting to get paid again. Then you take your 500,000. Then you put it back in your account again. It just, I'm telling you guys, it's over and over and over and over. It just keeps happening. All right. And it's very hard to break that. But once you do break that and you get on this cycle right here, now you could see things more clearly, and it becomes more fun because you're not refilling your account. All right. So as you're going through this and you're refilling, this number's getting bigger, you're not taking money out of your paycheck every 2 weeks or so and dumping it in here because you don't have to refill it because it's still building. All right. It might not be building by much because if you don't have a lot in there, it might not be building a lot. But over the time, it will be. Now, if you do have a lot, you have $10,000, $20,000 for a bankroll, and you're up here and you're betting that size with these. Now you're making really good money, you see? But you can get to that level, even with $1,000 bankroll over time. I mean, it takes time, but it's going to take years to get there. And that is like, honestly, the mentality behind that is what is key. All right. Now, if you can, zone in the gamblers, it's so hard to break gamblers' mindset because we all want quick money, right? That's what we want. We want to go in, we want to put 50 down, we want to win 50. All right. That's how we want to do it. We go in with $1,000, we want to walk out with 2,000. We want to double our money. We want that quick money, right? That's what gamblers do. That's how they want it. But once you break that kind of mental cycle there and realize that, the long term of stuff, you can actually make money in little increments and start stacking your money. Once you do that, then you can understand, that you can actually make serious money doing this. Because now if you add a big sum of money to, like I said, this number here, your bankroll is 10,000, 20,000, you're in that range now. Just think, you can almost do a full-time job out of this type of stuff. All right, so that's how you get to that level. All right, once you get to the professional level, this is what the professional level looks like. All right, professional level doesn't look like what I showed you before. All right, that is your average sports bettor. That is your weekend warrior, what I showed you guys, and if you want to keep donating money and keep giving money away, that's what's going to happen. All right, so that's just what the problem when it comes to sports betting, guys. This is the cycle that you want to be on. You want to make sure that you get out of that first cycle because it's very, trust me, it is aggravating. Because I went through that first cycle when I first started sports betting, and I just kept dumping money in, and I'm like, every week I got to keep refilling my bankroll. I have to keep refilling the account because I don't got no more money left in it. And guess what? It just gets annoying after a while because you're like, I just do nothing but lose. It's not good for your mentality. When you just keep losing, no matter what it is, and you keep losing, you start getting depressed, all right? Because it just happens. It gets a little crazy because your mindset is like, oh, I just keep losing, I just keep losing, I just keep losing. And guess what? It's going to happen if you don't do the right things, if your mentality is not sharp. Your mentality has to be sharp in this game. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's answer some of these questions that you guys got on here. Nigel, you said Do I still keep the 1 to 2% after a loss, or have to adjust my bet percentages? So you keep your 1 to 2% throughout, no matter what. All right, that's the way I would advise it. Now, I would get to, the highest I would go is 3%. That's really the highest is that I would suggest. As you can see here, in the comment below that, I would only get to about 3% would be the max. All right, it's because it's good advice right here in the comment section, guys. Look, don't change your percentage once your bankroll is bigger. You bet 1 to 3% of that bankroll and you stay consistent. It's exactly what you do. It's exactly what you do right there. All right, that's all you have to do. It's not hard to do. It doesn't seem hard to do, right? It doesn't seem hard to do. But once you actually get in that cycle of trying to actually bet and go through that, guess what? It becomes tough. All right? Very hard. It's very hard for a gambling mentality to be able to switch. All right? Even Darren in here. Darren, you have some good comments as well. Guys, read that comment as well. That's, very good on how you should look at it mentally and stuff like that. Starting with $1,000 bankroll, betting $10. That's the way that it goes. All right, Carl, you said, do you have any NHL strategies for the season? I'll be putting something up maybe next week. We'll do a live, and I'll give you guys some NHL strategies. So maybe that'll help you guys out for the season. Starts today pretty much. All right, NHL starts today, so definitely something to look forward to. But again, guys, this one is basically, I just wanted to jump in and show you guys the mentality and how important it really is to get your mindset right. Because if you don't get your mindset right, you shouldn't even be doing this. All right, you shouldn't even be doing this. I'm going to be honest with you. All right, you shouldn't be betting on sports. You shouldn't be gambling if you don't have the right mindset that goes behind it. Unless you're that occasional person that wants to go and just have fun at the casino, and throw away money. If you're that type of person and you're not taking it too serious, then that's fine. But if you're trying to take this serious and trying to make actual money doing this, this is the cycle you got to be on. All right, you got to be on that. If you want to bet on sports at a high level, you want to ever think about even doing this at a professional level, then pay attention to what I just showed you in the back. All right, because that's the only way you're going to get there. All right, there's no other way around it. There's no shortcuts to this. Trust me, there is no shortcuts to sports betting at all. You got to go through it, and you got to take your licks. You got to take your losses. You got to learn how to deal with losses, because losses are huge. All right, they're going to happen. You're going to lose. It just happens. Nobody hits 100% of the time. Nobody hits 80% of the time. All right, that's just not going to happen. You're going to lose. And when you lose, how you react to those losses is what defines your career as a sports bettor. All right, so just remember that, guys. All right, and then we got another question here. It says, when do we up our bankroll size? All right, so daily or monthly? How I would do it, I would always compound it monthly. All right, I would readjust my unit size monthly. Daily, nah. Daily I wouldn't do, because daily, anything can happen on a day-to-day basis. You could win, you could lose, you could win, you could lose. After a month, you're getting a good solid, 30, 31 days of how you did, throughout that month. So that's how you would adjust your size. That's how you adjust your unit size, correlating it with your bankroll. And then that's how you compound it, because you take 1 month, then you go to the next month, then you take your percentages off that bankroll, then you take a percentage off the next month. All right, so that's just how you compound it, and that's how you do that. All right, so thanks everybody for joining me on this live. Hopefully this information you guys use, and hopefully it was helpful for every single one of you guys that were out there watching. Like I said, guys, if you guys want to be coached by me one-on-one, make sure you guys go in the description down below and book a call. All right, as always, guys, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys next week. Till then, I'm out.